Shundi was now going to begin the 6th canto of the Ramayana called Lanka Kand. He knew that the theme of battle of this canto would be of particular interest to the hawk and the kite, who by nature are inclined to combat and attack. Arriving under the banyan tree, he first mentally invoked Sri Ram and then began the story. Sri Ram and his army of monkey and bears had reached the seashore, but now they had to find a way to cross the sea. The Devta of the sea suggested that the two brothers Nala and Neela in Sri Ram's army be given the responsibility of constructing a bridge over the sea. These two young brothers in their childhood had been blessed by a rishi that any stone touched by them and then placed in water would by the glory of Sri Ram stay afloat. The Sea Devta also promised that he would ensure that whatever stones were placed in the water would remain afloat. Jambavan got Nala and Neela to start working on the bridge right away. All the others were to assist them, but before beginning work, they were to remember the glory of Sri Ram and realize that they were doing his work. The bears and the monkeys set about finding boulders, huge rocks, trees, and they formed a chain, passing these from one to the other all the way to Nala and Neela. Very soon, the bridge was constructed and ready. Sri Ram stood there and felt so delighted. And then he felt that he wanted to establish a linga of Lord Shiva at that very spot. So Hanuman was sent to Kashi to procure a linga, but he got delayed, and the time stipulated, that auspicious time, the Muhurat, for the installation ceremony was getting over. So Sri Ram hastily fashioned a linga from the sand and installed it there. So when Hanuman returned, he was extremely disappointed. So Sri Ram took his linga and installed it over there as well. He named this sacred site Rameshwaram. And that is where the famous temple of Rameshwaram today stands, and you can still see those two lingas if you visit it. After having installed the lingas, Sri Ram explained to all the bears and the monkeys that devotion for him and devotion for Lord Shiva was one and the same thing. The name Rameshwaram itself has two meanings. One, it means the Lord of Ram, and two, it means the one whose Lord is Ram. Thereby, the term indicates both Shiva and Ram and highlights how their worship is one and the same. These are two names for the one Supreme Lord. Once the bridge was built, Sri Ram stood at the head, and suddenly, wanting to have a darshan, all the sea creatures, the huge whales, sharks, dolphins, sea turtles, and others surfaced. When they saw Sri Ram, they went into a trance. There were so many that one could no longer see any water. It was as though there was only land. Sri Ram told his army that they were in a trance and they would not move, so they could safely cross over. Singing and laughing and sporting, the monkeys crossed over, the bears crossed over, some went over the bridge, others crossed on the backs of these sea creatures, some went flying for part of the way. Angad carried Lakshman on his shoulders, and Hanuman took Sri Ram on his shoulders. And in this way, in one huge wave, Sri Ram and his army arrived in Lanka. Having reached the shores of Lanka, they set up camp. Now, at this point, a hawk in the audience had a question. If Sri Ram and his army could so easily cross over, what was the point in building the bridge? Good question, said Kakbhushundi. You see, by building the bridge, Sri Ram was ensuring that even the littlest creature, like an ant, would be able to cross over. On the other side, Ravan received news that the enemy army had reached Lanka. To hide his alarm and shock, he only laughed loudly. His queen Mandodari once again tried to reason with him. There was still time, she said, to return Sita Devi and avert a battle. She told him that trying to wage war against Sri Ram was like a firefly trying to outdo the sun. She advised him to leave the kingdom in the hands of his son, to go to the forest and worship Sri Ram. But of course, these words were like water off a duck's back. The ministers of Ravan, they said, what was there to fear? Ravan was unconquerable. They would just devour the monkeys, but in their hearts they were quaking with fear. Sri Ram decided to give one more chance to Ravan, and he sent Angad as his emissary to talk to Ravan. Angad arrived in the court, introduced himself as Sri Ram's messenger. He warned Ravan of the consequences that awaited him if he did not return Sita Devi and if he insisted on waging war with Sri Ram. Ravan laughed and said the most insulting things about Sri Ram. Angad was furious, and letting out a howl, he banged the floor with both his hands with such force that all the Rakshasas sitting in the assembly fell down instantly, and the crowns toppled down from Ravan's heads. Immediately, Ravan set about trying to retrieve his crowns, but before he could gather all of them, Angad had picked up 4 and flung them to where Sri Ram was. Thus, Ravan sat on his throne with only 6 of his 10 heads bearing crowns. The Rakshasas who were sitting near the door of the assembly beat a hasty retreat. Ravan roared at his courtiers to kill this monkey, to go and devour all the bears and monkeys, to rid the earth of simians, to capture the 2 ascetic brothers and to bring them alive before him. Before anyone could do anything, Angad got up and stamped his foot on the floor and said, if anyone in the assembly could lift his foot or even move it a little, then Ravan could keep Sita and Sri Ram would depart without her. Ravan instantly ordered everyone to go and move that foot of Angad. One by one the courtiers came. They tried. Then 2, 3 of them tried together. Then all of them tried, but that foot did not budge. Everyone felt defeated by the power of Angad. Then Ravan himself got up, and as he was bending to touch Angad's foot, Angad hastily removed it and said, what a shame it would be for the Rakshas king to touch a monkey's feet. Besides, there was nothing to be gained by touching his feet. Ravan needed to clasp Sri Ram's feet. And with that, Angad left the assembly. The important point here, said Kakbhushundi to his audience, is to see how the fearful, weak Angad had now become so confident and strong. It was because now he had full faith in the godhood of Sri Ram. He recognized that he was doing Sri Ram's work and that Bhagwan himself would accomplish it with his own divine power. Once that conviction took place, there was a new awakening in Angad. The same thing, said Kakbhushundi, happened to Hanuman. As long as he was in the service of Sugriv, he was not aware of his own power. But once he started serving Sri Ram, a major transformation took place in him. But now it was getting dark, and Kakbhushundi brought the story's session to an end. The birds bowed down to him and flew off in a most inspired mood.